138 was formed and was still not at Tempsford, and it became apparent that there was a need to take individuals, namely trained agents by SOE and SIS, and deliver them to the resistance forces, because it was apparent that resistance forces that were forming rather willy-nilly in the enemy-occupied area were not getting on very well with each other, and tending to overlap in their territories and become rivals rather than working together. So they needed the trained agents and, very importantly, the wireless operators to bring them together in a coordinated fashion to cover the maximum area of resistance in the whole of Europe, really, and the enemy countries, and also to enable a communication system to be set up in which the resistance forces could request deliveries and have it done under the tightest possible secrecy in order to obtain the arms and the sabotage materials and the leaflets and the money for bribery, and also some sweetmeats, like a bottle of whisky occasionally, and chocolates, which were very precious, and pigeons were deeply involved too, as messenger carriers. Unfortunately, that didn't work quite as well as they'd hoped, because apart from the loss of the birds in their little personal parachutes, not so much they were in little wicker containers, the French were hungry. And so quite a few of the pigeons, found their way onto the table of the French resistance. And you can understand that, actually, with the hungry families and hungry people. So it became apparent that there were two duties involved. There was the parachuting of agents and of supplies, canisters and packages, and many thousands of these were delivered. Agents, many hundreds of them were delivered. In fact, something like 15 or 1600 parachutings were performed. They were sometimes people going in for 2 or 3 times who'd managed to survive, get delivered out and then go back again. Some very famous names in that collection. Wing Commander Yo Thomas, christened the White Rabbit, was one such example. So the concept of a second squadron, which could concentrate on landing and delivering a bit more so, because 138 Squadron was already fully committed with delivering agents and supplies by parachute. And this was in usually the heavier, larger aircraft. And the 4-engine bombers quickly made a big impact in this role, and the principal working bomber was in fact the Halifax aircraft. And so the Hudson was introduced along with various other trial smaller aircraft and the Lysander. And the Lysander is a tough little aircraft, but it's a single pilot, whereas the Hudson had a crew of 5 normally and had much more room. But these two aircraft used to actually land, and they would land to deliver certain valuable people and also some supplies, and it was amazing what they packed into those small aircraft. And they would land at night on these tiny drop zones lit by handheld torches and little lanterns, and the navigation and airmanship had to be simply tops. Unfortunately, they were in enemy territory, so these operations, both the landing aircraft and the heavy bombers that would not land but would fly very low, were constantly under attack from the German flak, particularly the flak ships on the coast, which where the aircraft would descend from higher altitude to low altitude to escape radar detection. And then the German night fighters, which became very skilled and very expert and developed some very dangerous weapons. And particularly the gun angled upwards, that would fire from below an SD aircraft, referred to as Musik. And that was a disastrous effect for any aircraft, be it SD or regular bomber command aircraft.